Tell me if I'm wrong. A lot of people, when they get ready to sell their house, just wish they can snap their finger and have a genie come out of the bottle, give them a great, well-qualified buyer, get the cash, move on to their next destination. Just that fast. Until that genie appears, the reality of selling a house is there's many moving parts. Let's take a closer look at the steps you can use to sell yours. My name is Andrew Finney and my passion is helping you make sense of real estate. If you need help finding a top agent near you, or if you simply want to drop me a line to say hello, my contact info is below. If you're new here, please go ahead and subscribe to this channel now and like this video. Thank you. Alright my friend, the good news is there's a lot of these things that are within your control to do. So it's not like you're powerless or helpless in this process. So what's actually within your control turns out to be pretty substantial and will have a direct impact on your bottom line. Let's look at the 8 steps that you'll want to keep in mind as you move forward selling your house. The first one is understanding that every market is different. It's really easy for a lot of us to look at DIY HGTV and try to compare and contrast. Oh, my home here is worth $300,000, but if I was in New York, the same house is worth $700,000. You can't compare the state to state because it really goes back to the real estate adage, and not to sound too cliche because it is, location, location, location plays a very big role on the value of your real estate. A better starting place is taking a closer look at like-and-kind homes within your own neighborhood and community and looking what those homes are selling for. This will be one of the best indicators of your home's truest value. To dial it in a bit further, talk to your trusted real estate advisor, set a time to meet, and ask them to give you a comparative market analysis assessing what's going on and taking into consideration any improvements that you've made to your house. The second thing that you can do is have a pre-listing home inspection. A pre-listing home inspection is going to do a lot of things for you. It's going to empower you in knowing what's going to go on when you're in the closing process. Let's be honest, most buyers are going to get a home inspection when they're in the closing process. What generally happens at that time is they're going to be providing you with a repair request. Depending on how substantial the findings are in the home inspection, they might be coming after the price itself or in looking to enhance the terms in their favor at a renegotiation standpoint. The best way to cut this off at the pass is getting a pre-listing home inspection, making the corrections to the property that need to be done, keeping track of those receipts, and making both the home inspection and the receipts available to prospective home buyers as they're touring your home. That is the absolute best practice. Now you might be wondering, Andrew, how much is this going to cost me? A typical home inspector, depending on the size of the home, is probably going to charge somewhere between $250 to $400 for your home inspection. At the same time, if a buyer pays that and you're in the closing process, you didn't have a home pre-listing inspection, and the home inspector revealed something that might be of a big concern to the buyer, they might ask you to reduce your price by $4,000 to $5,000 for the same thing that it would cost a couple $100s to fix. This is because it's only our human nature to make bigger things out of small things when we are feeling a little bit anxious and a little bit nervous about spending hundreds of thousands or millions of dollars. It's important to take note of that. The best way to insulate yourself, the best way to protect the value of your home is simply to spend a few $100, have a pre-listing home inspection completed, make the repairs up front, and disclose that information to prospective home buyers. Work with your trusted real estate advisor to help you find the right home inspector to come out, take a close look at it. And if you're not in a position to make the repairs, that's okay too. All we need to do is simply disclose what's going on with the property. That transparency alone will bode extremely well in your favor in many cases if a buyer just simply knows what's going on. Consider the fact that most of us do really good with good news and we do okay with bad news so long as we know about it, but we do absolutely awful with no news. Let's go ahead and make it transparent and set you up for success, protecting your value in the process. The third thing you can do is pop your space. When we're talking about popping your space, what might come to mind immediately is like home staging and the need to spend all this money for home staging. The good news is that a lot of people have really nice stuff in your house. The good news is a lot of people have nice things in the house, and you probably do too, that simply rearranged or decluttered and depersonalized will make it look a lot better. Consider the very real fact that when we're talking about staging, less is more. Well-placed items are more keen on a buyer's eye. What are they looking for beyond the staging? A savvy home buyer will be looking beyond anything that you've done to the house in your home staging and won't be fooled by it. They'll appreciate it, they'll think it looks great, it might have got them into the door, but what they really want to see are the features and benefits, the true size of the home, so that they can visualize themselves living in the home. Less is more. The 3 things that you can do as very quick projects are simply adding some new paint to the interior or exterior or simply touching up the paint. The second thing you can do is just clean the entryway. That's where they're first going to walk in. Make sure everything is clean and ready to go. The third thing is tidying up your landscaping. Get a landscaper out there, trim back the trees, trim back the hedges, keep the grass mowed, and keep everything looking fresh and popping. Put some new plants out there if you need to, just to make it, give it that extra curb appeal that's going to attract them. Curb appeal is massively important. When they drive drive up to their home, if they're already getting excited, it's a good thing when they walk in your front door. When they see your home and they see all the features and benefits it provides, they're going to fall in love, and that's what we want them to do to make a great offer to you. The fourth thing is, please don't waste money on needless upgrades. Without fail, whenever I talk with people here in Las Vegas, Nevada about selling their property, like, hey Andrew, I was watching HGTV and DIY Network, and it sounds like if I do a major kitchen remodel, I should be able to get about 102% return on my investment, or 105% return on my investment if I put $35,000 into the kitchen. Only issue is that it's going to take maybe 4 or 5 months, but I don't have the $35,000, $40,000 for the renovation. I always tell people the same thing. When do you want to sell? Well, I would like to sell sooner than later. Okay, when we sell this house together, where are you headed? Oh, well, I want to buy across town. Okay, so then I say, okay, that's awesome. So let me ask you this. Why would we be renovating your house if we're getting ready to sell it? Ideally, what we want to do is look at your maintenance of the property. Going back to what we just shared a moment ago, make sure your home maintenance ready to go. Have that pre-listing home inspection completed. Make those repairs. Make it available to the prospective home buyers. And let's make sure that we can reduce any further investment into the property other than what might be needed through the closing process. Other than what might be needed to freshen up the house and for negotiations moving into the closing process. Let's help you get to where you want to be, because the reality is that if you take on a major remodel project right now and you're looking to resell your home, you're likely not going to get your money back. And I know that's going to defeat the purpose for you, and it's going to waste your time and lead you to being frustrated and aggravated. Let's go ahead and keep that money in your pocket so that you can use it at your new home. The fifth thing that you can do is always have professional photography. In fact, a great trusted real estate advisor will always ensure that they are paying for the professional photography. Now, if you have a super high-end home and you want to roll out the Lamborghinis and the Rolls Royces, the way that you see some of those almost like lifestyle commercials just for one home, okay, now that costs bank. You might want to consider paying for that one or working with your listing agent on that one, because those cost massive money, $10,000, $15,000, $20,000 in some cases, just for a 30-second to 90-second clip. So if that's your case, hey, talk to your trusted real estate advisor if that's what you want done to the house. At the same time, the majority of us can simply hire a professional photographer to come in, shoot your house in high-def, high-res quality, be able to put it on the internet, and then we're going to be able to attract the buyers once we have already freshened up your house. Consider the fact that less is more and made things happen with your home staging. That's when we want to call in the photographer. It'll look so freaking amazing. Consider the fact that when you put your home on the market, we're really playing like Match.com. We want to find your house a suitor, and that suitor needs to feel so passionately and so in love with your house. They want to marry a 30-year fixed rate mortgage in many cases just to buy your place. Let's put our best foot forward by glamming it up. The sixth thing that you can do is interview your agents. You want to make sure that you're getting the right agent for you, and one that preferably knows the market and where you are. When we're looking at the market, it's one thing to say, hey, the Las Vegas market is going in XYZ. It's another thing to be able to then subset it into one of the 52 zip codes. Yes, one of the 52 zip codes through the Las Vegas Valley. That's how many we have right now. It's a lot. And then pigeon it down to that zip code. Then from that one zip code where there might be 35, 50, 100,000 people living in, narrow it down again to that neighborhood and know what's going on. So you take it from the bird's eye, you take it closer, you take it closer, you take it home. You want that agent that knows how to take it home right into that valuation and know what's going on with the trends in that area, and that's the agent that you want. It's not that they have to live in the community. It's not that they can't live on the other side of town if they're good at their job. They know how to dial in those numbers by taking an accurate assessment and taking the pulse of the community. A good trusted real estate advisor will generally arrive well in advance of your listing appointment just to scour the neighborhood. Depending on how much time into the future you set this listing appointment, in fact, a good trusted real estate advisor is likely to have gone out and previewed every single home that's on the market, and they're just to get an idea of what the competition's looking like. They get an idea of what's going on with the area and the values. Is it trending up? Is it trending down? Hiring the right agent is critically important. It's something that always baffles my mind, honestly, why people will Google what they're doing this weekend, Google what they're going to eat for dinner, but not Google the agent by not checking their online ratings, reviews, and past sales performance. That is critically important. Knowing who we're working with is everything. Real estate done correctly can make you tens, hundreds, and even millions of dollars. Real estate done incorrectly can cost you tens, hundreds, and millions of dollars. Let's make sure that you get this right, protect your bottom line, and make sure you're in good hands with the very best. The seventh thing that you can do is interview 2 to 3 agents. The reason you would like to interview 2 to 3 agents is to make sure that you feel right with that agent, that you can trust that agent, and that you guys feel like you can work together. It is a two-way interview between you and that agent. The agent must also feel like they can trust you as well, because let's face it, we're going to be working as a partnership when it comes time to sell your home. We need to have exceptionally good communication, open dialogue, and brutal honesty if necessary at times, but all within a respectful environment that gives everybody the dignity that they deserve throughout the entire process. Let's make sure that you get this right, and that's why it really goes back to the importance of Googling the the agent, checking the online ratings, the reviews, and past sales performance. I'll go ahead and pop up a card now about the 20 questions you want to ask a listing agent when you meet with them. The 8th thing that you can do is set a realistic price. This goes without saying that a realistic price is critically important when it comes time to sell your home. Homes that are overpriced will sit on the market longer and generally sell for less than their fair market value at the end of the day. Now, if you have a home that's slightly underpriced or that's priced at fair market value, depending on the market conditions, what could happen is you could get a multiple bid and drive the price even higher. Now, obviously, when we're talking about a multiple bid situation, that is a hot seller's market. As the market stabilizes, you'll need to have an open mind towards negotiation. But consider that negotiations really don't have anything to do with the mindset, oh, well, I'll price it way up here to leave room for negotiations. Because this is what I really want you to get clear and what I want you to think about right now. When you see a home that's overpriced, how do you feel about that home? Number one, do you really want to see that house? Number two, do you think the seller's unrealistic? Number three, does it make you nervous when you consider making an offer on that home at a realistic price? Probably it does. So is going to be true of other buyers in the market with your home if you're priced that way. Fair market value is the right value, because at the end of the day, if the buyer is getting financing, they can't get more home loan than their appraised value of the home. And sometimes sellers say to me, well, Andrew, they could just come out of pocket the additional cash. And I always say, hey, that's a great point. Some buyers have it, some buyers don't. Let's be honest. And at the end of the day, let me ask you a question. If you were in a multiple bid, or if an appraisal came in less than the amount that you offered on a house, would you personally be willing to pay out of pocket the difference? And I just ask them that question, asking yourself a question right now. You're probably yelling at me right now saying, no, I'm not going to overpay for a property. Then what makes you think another buyer is going to do it? It's time to be real, it's time to be realistic, and it's time to get this right to help you get what you want in this process of selling your home so you can move on with your life into the new destination. Let's not let your house hold you back. All right, my friend, let's take a closer look at the 21 hard facts you'll need to know about selling your house and a timeline you can follow for selling your house. Looking forward to our next conversation. We'll see you in a few.